Hello again, everybody. Well, remember elementary school days? One of the best days of the year was field trip day, right? And it didn't even matter where you were going. It could have been the zoo or the art museum. It was just the matter that you got to leave the classroom and get on a bus and go to some place so you didn't have to spend the day inside. I love those days. We all have great memories. Well, guess what, kids? Today on the Simon Says podcast is field trip day. Now, we're not going to any place exotic. We're not going to the zoo, or we're not going to go, to the history museum or anything like that. We're going to go out here into a part of the One Private Wealth office, and you are really going to get some insight into how the sausage is made, into some of the decision-making process that drives our team to help our clients. So are you ready to do this? Let's go. So you get a little different look at the podcast studio, don't you? And then right across from me, I don't have to walk very far. Yes, my office there. Looks great. Now, this, you're going to see a little bit more of the One Private Wealth office here, but let me draw your attention to a couple places in particular, and that is illustrations that mark our walls. You can see over here we have a few of them, and over here many more, just to kind of show you what people see when they come back to our offices, whether they're meeting with Tom, Brandon, myself. These illustrations are very important to us, and every day when I walk down to my office, I'm able to remind myself of what really drives us. Now, let me give the legal disclaimer here first before I show you what a few of these are and the true meaning behind them. These are drawn and illustrated by a man, his name is Carl Richards, a true genius, and he draws pictures just for financial advisors. He has this unique ability to take a very complex financial topic, and what he does is he draws a very simple illustration to help explain it, where the light bulb goes off and say, oh, now I get what you're trying to say. We have purchased these, so these are copyrighted by Carl. Just want to give that legal description here, and we hang them on the wall for everyone to see when they walk by. So what we're going to do is show you a few on the financial planning process and what's important to me. I'll explain that. And then, my friends, we're going to do something a little different. We are going to look at some illustrations that get into life issues, the happiness part, and what the true meaning of money really is. So let's do this. Let's have a little fun on our field trip day here on one section of the One Private Wealth office. All right, so here is the first one we're going to look at. I love this one, by the way. Here is your current reality. There's where you're trying to go. We know it's not a straight line. It's important to remember that during the really tough times when you're down here in terms of your net worth and your investments. We know this inherently, but it's a great reminder, especially like I said, during the tougher times, like right now, just a little bit, all right? Over here, I've actually used this one before in a commentary some time ago. It's very simple, but this is the problem that a lot of investors have who give into the twin emotions of fear and greed. People get caught up in bull markets, right? And everybody's buying and going crazy and greed, buy. And then the inevitable correction and bear market comes. And then they panic, they freak out, they sell. And as Carl so eloquently puts here, and very simply, just repeat this until broke. The sad part about this is he's exactly right, and it does happen. I've seen it. All right, just a couple more over here. This is a little bit more structural in nature, but the reason I point this out is because it connects to something that I have copyrighted for myself, known as the PAIR principle. We use that in our practice every day. PAIR. Plan, assess, invest, review. Carl Richards says, yes, plan is the most important component. That is your building block. Too many investors start with the product. Hey, what individual stock should I buy? ETF? Should I put a little in gold? What should I? That's all important. It is part of the financial planning process, but it all starts with the foundation. Have a plan. And the last part on this section here, I love this. Here are the taxes you paid. Here are the taxes you could have paid with proper financial planning. This is important because you know why? Come back next week. I address this topic in a different kind of way through something called required minimum distributions and Roth conversions and the lack of planning that we have when we're younger. This is very, very key to what we do holistically. All right, we're going to leave this part because, again, this gets into more of the objective part of financial planning. Now we're going to look at the subjective part, the emotional part. And what I mean by that is in a very good way, what money means to us. This is something that's really overlooked. So we're just going to take a look at a few here of the Carl Richards illustrations. I love this. Here's your money. Here's your life. Where they overlap is where the real financial planning takes place. I cannot overstate it. It is simply put, this is so important to us, especially when we sit down with people. I ask these kinds of questions. What does money really mean to you? There has to be an objective, the meaning behind each dollar. Yes, I understand. We're trying to put money away for retirement. We need to take distributions in retirement, but there's something deeper we need to get to. Think about that, noodle on it, and try to determine the true meaning of what you're trying to accomplish. As we go over here, another one I love. Man, this guy's so good. Here are your values. This is your internal belief system, how you use your money, and that is your happiness. The more that you align your use of money with your values, the happier you are. I've talked about this before, by the way. I have gone public before in some of my commentaries when I've talked about some stocks that I've owned in the past, and the company started to do things that violated my own internal belief value system. I didn't like it. So I sold those stocks. I paid capital gains, and I left money on the table because those stocks continued to go up. But I didn't care. They didn't align with my values. So with that and my use of money, I was very satisfied, pleased, and happy that I made that decision. And lastly, I've saved the best for last for me on this type of subject matter. Everyone has great memorable experiences, whether it's vacations, time with your kids, watching your firstborn come into the world, or any of your kids, of course. Then we talk about people you love, right? Where these overlap, your greatest source of happiness. I am not a kumbaya kind of guy. I'm not. We're not sitting around the campfire, strumming guitar and singing folk songs and all that, okay? We're not trying to be all gobbledygook here, but this is so important. It is overlooked. Again, when we talk to folks about this, yes, we do the proper financial planning. Yes, we start talking about what products that you should have, and we're going to help people get to the promised land eventually. But I always want to get to the core of this. I want to get to the true nugget of why are you here in the first place? Do you want to help your grandkids? Is that important to you? 529 planning. What kind of charitable foundations are important to you? What kind of lasting legacy do you want to leave? Not just for people, but maybe for certain organizations. All of this and more. We have even more of these back in storage. We live by all the time, all right? I'll end with this. A lot of what we talked here, I'll even go into more detail on a weekly basis. Many of you know this on my weekly commentary. If that's new to you because you're new to this podcast, there's a link below in the description part down here that you can go to it and sign up for the commentary. All right. I always like to say this, by the way. No one's trying to sell you anything. You take this information and do with it what you want. You can tell that, hopefully, if you've watched all these podcasts. If you're new, again, go back and look at them. I've been writing that commentary now for 25 years. I don't even know who's on it. I don't see the emails. Email addresses. It's a blind carbon copy. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, this 25-year-long commentary that I've been writing every week, again, go to the link and sign up. I'm here to help folks. If you have any questions about any of this, please engage. Ask the question, make a comment. You bet that you will hear from me. That's it for now. Please come back next week. Take care.